The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. In overtime, 100 apiece. Here come the Knicks, once down by 20. Halfway through the third quarter, they forced OT, and then in the OT, OG Anunoby and one. He had 29. Jalen Brunson, a miss there. Cat with the tip in. Last chance for Boston, down 3. And Mikal Bridges, who is a defensive wizard down the stretch. And an improbable Game 1 win for the Knicks in Boston, 108-105 in overtime. We're here for the next hour to break it down for you from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Alan Hahn and Wally Szczerbiak. Down 20, 5:47 to go in the third quarter. Who had the Knicks winning this game? Raise your hand.
The Knicks didn't have themselves winning this game, but they believed and they stuck with it. And what you have to take, they took 63 pointers while they only made 15. We talked about that 3-point differential. And this is a Celtics team that will shoot themselves sometimes out of a game. And it feels like in the second half, that's what they did. And the Knicks took advantage of it. And they stole Game 1. And boy, do we have a series all of a sudden.
We do. You live by the 3, you die by the 3. This Celtics team did not play well. Knicks played terribly in the first half to give them a 20-point lead. And when the Knicks finally played the way they're capable of playing, started playing like a team, started moving the ball and knocking down the shots they were capable of knocking down, the Celtics, they got tight in that fourth quarter. They got tight at the end of the game. They let the Knicks back in. When you play that style of play, you chuck up those threes from 5 feet behind the three-point line, you better be getting offensive rebounds because those are terrible shots. They are not good looks at the basket. The Knicks defense was perfect. Tom Thibodeau had this team ready to go. And when they finally felt like, hey, we can hang with this team, boom, did they knock this team out in Game 1. That's a big victory for the Knicks.
The adjustments they made definitely at the half, but 10 turnovers the Celtics had in the second half of this game. The Knicks scored 17 points off turnovers. That was a big part of it as well. Anunoby's defense, Bridges' defense. The formula that you talked about of how can the Knicks steal games, how can the Knicks win this series, that's what we saw in the second half. Get it close, let Jalen Brunson make big shots. He did. Make him make a big play. He did. OG hits a big 3. You survived to get into overtime, although Brunson could have ended that in regulation.
Yeah, he got a great look.
But the formula of how to beat the Celtics was on display in the second half of this game, and the Knicks were able to do it.
I got to tell you, though, you go 15 of 60 from 3.
Is
that defense or brutal shooting? The Celtics, in fact, tied the NBA record for most regulation threes taken in a playoff game with 58. They took 58 threes in regulation. That ties the most ever. So back to you. Bad shooting or good defense?
Well, it's a combination of both. I thought in the playoffs the Celtics weren't going to make 21 threes the way they did against the Knicks and shoot 44% during the regular season. It's different, just a different tension and tightness when you're in the playoffs. And in that fourth quarter, I'll tell you, Jalen Brunson was outstanding. And when he started to miss a couple shots, that's when his teammates really kicked in and made big plays. This team is so connected.
Watch Anunoby here.
Now. Anunoby, outstanding play. He has never really had big moments like this in the playoffs, but boy, has he been stepping up and ready for that moment. That guy has. Two-time champion Drew Holiday knocks down the big shot. Anunoby almost falls off balance. And there's Jalen Brunson knocking down those threes, gives the Knicks a 6-point lead in the fourth quarter. Huge 6-point lead. Continues to knock down those mid-range shots, but he started to miss a little bit. This is the one that gave him that 6-point lead at 97-91, and then he started to miss. And here come the Celtics.
Boy, this team. That's a layup, and they're going to kick it out for 3. Derek White does hit it, but Wally, they gave up layups for 3s in this game.
Yeah, and Derek White's the one guy when he gets his feet set, he was really good tonight. But then Jalen Brunson did a good job of trusting his teammates. And boy, OG Anunoby, he is ready to play in this series. He is elevating his game big time. Nice little play there. I thought Karl Anthony Towns just a step slow on that rotation. Good defense by Mitchell Robinson. Got to get these rebounds, and they do. So now here we go, final possession.
Look.
What a play by Karl Anthony Towns. What a pass off the inbounds. Great diagram, and you're thinking, oh, can't get it in regulation. What about overtime?
More defense. Look at this, like right there, disruption, get the steal. And now Josh Hart on the break, and you're going to find OG Anunoby. Everybody's looking for Brunson. Anunoby cutting to the basket, the dunk, and one. And the Knicks get up 103-100. And then how about this kick out? And there's Wingstop working together, a corner three. 106-100, you're feeling good about things, but you know this Celtic team finds a way to get open threes. That's off an offensive rebound.
Brown's
1
only
for 10.
Only three he made all night.
He was 0 for 9 before that, and now here, this is all you need, some defense, and you take away any opportunity for them to steal that game, punctuated by defense, which I thought was fitting in that second half of what the Knicks were able to do to this Celtic team.
Look at the three-point shooting. It's worth drilling down on this again. Brown, 3-point shooting, 1 out of 10. Tatum, 4 out of 15 from 3. Derek White, 5 of 16 from 3. Look, we've talked about the Celtics. They took more threes, made more threes than any team in NBA history in the regular season. The question is, can you win in the playoffs playing like this?
They won a championship last year doing this.
I understand that, but that was...
It's what
you got to get quality looks. That's the key. And this team, the Celtics, they thought they were going to just prance through this game and prance through this series and just coast like they did against the Knicks in the regular season. The Knicks showed this is a totally different ball game. This is a totally different team than the Celtics played in the regular season. This Knicks team took some time to come together. I thought they were built for the playoffs and built for these moments. They have guys that are not afraid of the moment, and they have the most clutch player, not in this series, in the whole league.
Yeah.
And when you have that puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. And you saw that pressure build on the Celtics, and they missed a lot of makeable shots because they knew Jalen Brunson was lurking and that Jalen Brunson could win this game single-handedly.
They struggled with the free throw shooting in the first half, 9 of 12 in the second half, and into overtime. That was a weakness. The turnovers were a weakness. They cleaned a lot of things up.
And another thing, the offensive rebounds that Boston gets, if they're going to crash the glass like that, when you get rebounds, run that ball right down their throat. Run it right back at them. Fast break points, threes on the break. You got to make teams pay when they crash the offensive glass for shooting all these threes and getting all these long rebounds. When you get the long rebounds, go right back at them, get easy baskets in transition. That will put the Celtics on their heels.
OG Anunoby in the third quarter helped turn this game around also.
Yes.
When it was 20 points and things really looked like it was slipping away and the Knicks offense was struggling, Anunoby got things going. They had a 20-6 run and really got themselves back into the game. All that you needed was that belief. Somebody had to get hot. Somebody had to make a difference. And so this was a little of everybody having an impact on this game, and that's the way you're going to beat the defending champs.
You touched on the Knicks free throw shooting, only 17 of 31.
Yeah.
Hahn Mitch was
Most
effective, but only 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And no Porzingis in the lineup for the Celtics.
Huge.
It's huge
Yeah.
because it's a huge drop-off.
He got sick.
Al Horford making those switches onto Jalen Brunson. And when you don't have Porzingis out there to knock down those threes at the end of the games, he is not scared. He made big shots against the Knicks all the time in crunch time. Not having him in the game was huge for the Celtics.
Celtics say KP, a non-COVID illness, did not play at all in the second half. Down 20 about halfway through the third quarter. The Knicks force overtime and then win game 1 in Boston in overtime, 108-105. We are set for game number 2 Wednesday, as will be the case throughout the series. We have a half-hour pregame show at 6:30 and an hour-long postgame show after Wednesday night's game number 2. As we continue, and how did the Knicks come back? Well, we've talked about Boston not being able to shoot, going ice cold in the last 18 minutes of regulation. Also didn't hit many shots in overtime. But Jalen Brunson, Wally, again, fourth quarter, captain clutch, 11 more fourth quarter points, helped key the Knicks comeback.
Yeah, he got the switches he wanted. Al Horford was switched on him a couple times. Jalen went to work. You got to give him the space to operate, though. And what I loved about what he did is this was early on in the game with Porzingis still in it, using those pick and rolls, getting to his spots. When he gets Peyton Pritchard on him, you got to give him room to operate so he can post him up, use his size, and get his buckets. But the most impressive part about his game was how he orchestrated the fourth quarter and overtime and passed the ball and was a pure point guard. When he found he couldn't get his shots to go, that was the big one that gave the Knicks the 6-point lead in the fourth quarter. The big step back over Al Horford. He trusted his teammates. That's outstanding point guard play. Jalen Brunson was also really good on the defensive end of the floor. He's dealing with guys that are bigger than him, but his physicality, his smarts, I think was very good, being in the right place all the time defensively.
All right, guys, Monica McNutt in Boston on the radio call on ESPN New York. ESPN New York now joins us from Boston. Monica, what a win at game 1 for the Knicks.
I can't breathe. Pidto, I can't breathe. I cannot breathe.
Take a deep breath.
This is what I will say. Okay, yeah, we need to do our box breathing together. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Game 3, follow me, y'all. Game 3 versus the Pistons. I felt that was one of the best team performances because everybody was a star in their role. Game 1 versus the Celtics, I have to apply the same logic. For Mikal Bridges to be struggling most of the night, I believe he finished 3 of 13, but to come up with the biggest steal to finish the game, to come up with a monster 3 in the overtime period, for Karl Anthony Towns to be navigating foul trouble and to continue to be a target by this Boston Celtics squad, to come up with a huge putback, Josh Hart, double-double, doing what he does. OG Anunoby, big-time shots late. Of course, Captain Clutch, Jalen Brunson, activated when it mattered most for this team. This, to me, is another tremendous example of this team being stars in their roles. And I will add, guys, the feeling here in the building, and I said to Tyler as the team closed that 20-point deficit in the third quarter, first I said it off air and then presented it to our audience on air, but it felt as though the Knicks had to have this one, because I don't know in this series how many more times the Celtics will shoot 25% or less from the three-point line. I'm not sure how many more times Kristaps Porzingis will only play a half. And so it felt like there was an urgency in the moment that I don't know if this team is able to meet if they were not, so to speak, if the beast had not been awakened because of the grittiness that was demanded of them to get past the Pistons.
I'm with you, Monica. I think that Pistons series really brought this team and this locker room together. How about the job that Bridges and Anunoby did on Tatum and Brown? They shot 7 for 20, Jaylen Brown, and 7 for 23, Jason Tatum. Just outstanding defense.
And this is why, Wally, I think Mikal Bridges is playing some of his best basketball, right? We come into this one, I joined the good folks on NBC Sports Boston in the pregame show, and one of the questions was, can the Wingstop crew do what they're supposed to do? Now, they didn't use the name Wingstop because they don't know that name. But my response was absolutely. These guys had to guard challenging scores in this Pistons series. And you understand, to a degree, you're not going to stop those guys, but can you contain them and make their life difficult? Yes, they have the natural gifts and abilities. They've been playing with a tremendous level of focus down the stretch. And this team, if nobody believes, as we know the national conversation, the internal group that wears that uniform believes. And so we saw exactly that. But all of it, Wally, to me, comes back to a tremendous level of focus top to bottom for this group.
Hey, Monica, in these playoff series, you always learn from each game, wins and losses, of course. Now, this is a win for the Knicks, but they still want to learn a lot of the things that the Celtics wanted to do against them defensively and offensively. If there's one thing that stood out to you to say, watch this in Game 2, what would it be?
Well, I still think that they're going at Karl Anthony Towns, right? He was smart in that he was able to navigate the foul trouble down the stretch. But I still think that they are using their 5-out lineup. They're going to attack whoever they deem to be the soft spot in the defense. I think the Hack-a-Mitch thing is something that is a little bit mind-boggling to me, but we'll probably continue to see more of that. And so I think individually, these guys are all being challenged. I mean, even late in game, Jalen Brunson is guarding Jason Tatum. And so I think the one-on-one defense, everyone is being challenged. Now, yes, as a team, you have to stay connected and be in the proper help and the proper rotations. But I think as a team, the Knicks need to continue to check themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to be the one, and give their best efforts in terms of keeping guys in front of them. Because I really think, while I don't expect the Celtics to depart from threes because that's who they are, I do think they will be looking to attack the Knicks one-on-one, especially anybody not named Bridges or Anunoby.
All right, Monica. Thanks as always. Have a good day off in Boston. We'll talk to you on Wednesday night.
Boston just got so much more lovely tomorrow, guys.
Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. So Tom Thibodeau's Knicks win Game 1 in overtime. Let us now hear from the Knicks coach. As always, his post-game comments presented by Chase.
Yeah, I thought it was a great team win. We started well, then we fell into a hole, then we fought our way out. And then we made tough plays down the stretch. I think that's huge for us.
I like the defense. You guys switched everything. It really mucked things up for them. How did you like your guys' execution defensively? The guys taking the challenge of guarding one-on-one.
Yeah, and they still, they got a number of threes up. And some of them, we have to do a better job. The rebounding, we have to make sure that we fix that. So some were good, some have to be a lot better. And the important thing for us is to understand what it is. It's one win, and then understand that we have to reset and get ready for Game 2. Yeah, and it's been, this team has fought all year. It's been a pretty good road team. We've had to endure some things with guys being out, and I think over time that helps you. You build up your mental toughness and understanding how important that is. And it's like I said, it's one game. There's a lot of emotional highs and lows in a playoff, but no matter what happens, you have to keep moving forward. Yeah, no, just it was a great look. Shot it great, didn't go in. That's part of the game. Next play. OG was terrific the whole game. Just multiple effort plays, that sort of thing. And then the thing I don't want to overlook is Josh was terrific also, but Cat had foul trouble, but the rebounding and making tough plays at the end, that was huge for us. And so I think when you think about that, if you look at his stats shooting-wise, he helped us win, and that's the most important thing. And the same can be said from Mikal. Mikal came up with some big-time rebounds in traffic, and then the steal at the end. And so whatever we have to do to find a way to win, that's the most important thing. So don't get wrapped up in any personal dilemmas or anything like that. Put the team first and just find a way to win.
Are you surprised at all that as you guys are bouncing that comeback, and you just mentioned that Cat had foul trouble, they obviously tried to foul benching that you taking him out of the game, that they continued to launch as many threes as they did when you guys were down to your third string center at one time?
Yeah, and that's what they do, and again, I want to look at the quality of those shots, and oftentimes I thought there were scramble situations, ones in which I thought Holiday hurt us with his offensive rebounding. We got to make sure that we get a body on him. He's real quick to the ball, and as a team, they're quick to the ball. So we have to do a better job with that.
How do you think OG specifically did? There just seemed to be so many times where you guys were going to stop and OG would just be.
Yeah, and he came up with a big steal too, like his. He has a multiple effort mentality. He makes a lot of tough plays for us. He plays with physicality, but it's physicality with intelligence. There's not reckless fouls. It's body position. It's anticipation. It's thinking ahead. It's reading the play. It's reading the tendency. He's got great instincts for that.
With Mitch, they're obviously hacking him, at times during the game. How does that change what you guys can do on the court?
Well, the thing that he does is he impacts the game, and so if they go to fouling him, you're weighing what's his impact. And I think he was a plus 13 or something when he was on the floor. So the reason why they're doing it is try to get him off the floor. And so what he does is he gives us the ability to switch more, but also rim protect and rebound. And then if they're not in the penalty or then we know we can leave him out there. Then we have to make decisions as we go from there.
You talk about the shots weren't falling, but the defense he played, he hit that three-pointer,
Yeah, the big corner one. Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, and then just at the end, he out-muscled a guy who probably weighs a ton. The way he
Yeah,
just run us through.
those are big-time toughness plays. Just the ball's up in the air. It's a 50-50 ball, and just go get it, and that's what he did. So, when you're trying to win a game, a playoff game, they're hard to win, and you got to make plays like that. So I think your defense, your toughness, your teamwork, that's paramount in a playoff game.
Can you talk more about, can you say enough about Jalen in terms of down the stretch? You guys come back from down 20, and then it's a game down the stretch, and it just seems like there's no doubt that in these clutch moments he's going to come through.
Yeah, and it's obviously the obvious is his shot making ability, but it's also his teammates working with him to create advantages. And so understanding what the coverage is, what they're trying to get away from, and then to try to create those advantages. It's everyone working together, and then also trusting the pass when the second and third defender come. Now we can play off of that. And so if there's 2 or 3 guys on him, you just spray it out, and then we can get a good look. And oftentimes, if we don't make that, we get the offensive rebound on it.
With Deuce, that was probably his best game in the playoffs so far. What allowed him to get going?
Yeah, just playing, keeping it simple. like not overthinking, not forcing things. Read the game. The game tells you what to do. Play to your strengths. Cover up your weaknesses. And when he does that, he's terrific.
How valuable is when you guys are down 20? It seemed like Josh was the one guy who was getting every rebound and second chance. Just the energy he gave you there.
Yeah, and the same thing. It's not only the rebound, but then to get us to play with pace, to get us up the floor quickly, and then to try to generate some open looks off of that. And we want to attack rim first and then find open threes. And it allowed us to play faster. And so I think that's another area we can do better in.
Tom, you come in believing that you can win this game against a team that did well against you during the season. How much does it change and how much does it give your guys to now know that they can do it, know that they can come back from what they came back from, and that the game plan is going to work?
Yeah, and again, I think the biggest challenge in the playoffs are dealing with the emotions of the playoffs. And so if you feel too good about yourself, you won't be ready for game 2. So it's one win. And then tomorrow we have to reset and get ready for game 2. And that's all, don't play the series, play the game. What do we have to do to win game 2? And that's where the focus needs to lie. And so I think that's important for us. Yep.
All right, up next, we'll hear from the Celtics coach, Joe Mazzulla. What does he say about the Knicks comeback as the Celtics blow a 20-point lead halfway through quarter number 3? Dramatic come-from-behind win for the Knicks tonight in Boston in Game 1, 108-105 in overtime. Wednesday is Game 2, and we'll be on at 6:30 with a half-hour pregame show, and after the game, as will be the case all series long, we'll be on with an hour-long postgame show. The Celtics set an NBA record in the playoffs with 45 missed threes. Never has a team missed more threes in an NBA playoff game. Here's Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla.
Joe, second half, you guys were shooting almost exclusively three-pointers. I know you talk about take what the defense gives you, but were you satisfied with the shot selection in that second half?
Yeah, I think for the most part, obviously, over the course of the game, you always can find, 5-10 shots that you want to be better at. But, I thought throughout the night, for the most part, we fought for good looks, throughout the game. But, yeah, you can find 5 to 10 that we could be better at.
And so after you guys go up 20, what changed in what they were doing to walk that lead down? Yeah,
I think we left some of their some of their good shooters open. I think Anunoby went on a small run by himself. So some personnel stuff. They were able to get out in transition off of some of our misses, and then I think they had a 5-0 run off of offensive rebounds. Just so detailed stuff that we have to be able to be better at. And I thought we missed. If you look at that run, I thought we missed some good ones, and I thought there was obviously a few that we could fight to get better on.
Joe, can you just take us through the end of overtime there, the taking the timeout with 3 seconds left? Were you thinking about taking it earlier in that situation, or did you just want to kind of see how it played out?
No, in regulation, when you call it, they're taking both Towns and Brunson out of the game, and so I felt like we had speed there to be able to get something with 2 left. We can go get a layup with one of those 2 guys on the floor that would give us a chance to extend the game. Then I was at half court probably around 8 or 9 calling it. They didn't see it, and then they ended up fouling, and so we used it there. So just a feel thing of knowing that when you call it, they're going to go to their defensive lineup, and could we get something quick, in transition.
And what were you trying to do on the last play of overtime there with the way they just would have defended the play to the pass to Jalen?
Yeah, just to read. Jalen's great in space. They're going to foul in that situation, so it's got to be catch and shoot. So just to read to try to create space, get a quick catch and shoot for Jalen. Ran that play a few times. I think he was able to get some good separation on there. Bridges made a good play.
Joe, Kristaps left with the illness. How is he doing, and how much did that affect what you guys wanted to do the rest of the game?
I haven't seen him yet, but we'll check on him. But, obviously it impacts the game with his ability on both ends of the floor. And, it obviously changes sub-patterns. It changes the things that, you're able to do matchup-wise and play call frequency-wise. So, yeah, I think we felt, but, it's no excuse. We had plenty of opportunities to do it, and hopefully he's ready for game 2.
KP only played 13 minutes, didn't score, out with what the Celtics say is a non-COVID illness. after halftime. That's how they play. I mean, coach is not apologizing for missing 45 threes, for taking 60 threes. That's how the Celtics play.
Yeah, give the Knicks credit. They played good. They held them to 5 points in 5 minutes in overtime. That vaunted offensive team that torched the Knicks all regular season long, the Knicks completely locked them down in crunch time at the end of that game in overtime. That's a big-time performance by this Knicks team. They saw some things on film that they could adjust to. They made the Celtics take terrible shots. 5 to 10, he said, bad shots.
Yeah.
There could have been a lot more than that.
Well, he's never going to
questioning, like, really? You're taking that shot?
He's never going to say that
The Knicks'
much.
physicality and defensive ability make these guys, as we were talking about, not want to go to the basket and settle for threes. It has anything to do with it. It's a lot easier to take a three than have to go against Anunoby and take him to the basket.
As a defender, when you know the Celtics want to shoot this many threes, you can press up a little bit more. When you know they're not comfortable putting the ball down on the floor and taking mid-range shots, you can use that to your advantage as a defender, and you can get a little bit more aggressive to really sell out to defend that three-point line.
All right, when we come back, the guys at the Wally Wall, key sequences down the stretch as the Knicks are able to prevail. OG Anunoby, huge tonight with 29 points, 8 in quarter number 4. We'll see you on Wednesday night for our pregame show at 6:30 and then an hour-long postgame show after Game 2. That'll be the case throughout the series. Knicks win tonight in Boston in overtime. It's the second time in franchise history the Knicks have won 4 straight playoff games on the road. The last time they did it, it's the last time the Knicks made the NBA Finals, back in 1999. Over now to the Wally Wall with Allen and Wally, guys.
They've been a very good road team.
4 straight on the road.
Yeah, that's right. Been a very good road team so far here in the playoffs. And they've been a very good team closing as well. And we're going to show you a couple of closing plays. While we've talked a lot about the Celtics missing a ton of threes, the Knicks were great from they actually made more threes than the Celtics made. 17 threes out of 37. That's just under 46%. 2 big ones late. This one end of regulation. This is Brunson finding OG Anunoby, trusting teammates.
And this is good offense. And the Knicks were running good offense against this Celtics defense most of the night, getting the mismatches that they wanted. Jalen had already torched them with a couple threes on a couple possessions before, but then Boston came back. So Jalen read the defense, and look here on the screen. Freeze it there. He does a good job of leaving Holiday in the dust because Holiday thought he was coming off the screen this way. He gets into the paint, and look at OG Anunoby. This is his spot. He is an outstanding corner three-point shooter. Jalen Brunson knows the defense is coming to him. Mr. Clutch, look at this. Draws the defense, could have been a foul. He has Bridges out here for the kick out. He kind of baits White to come out to
look
Bridges.
Look at all eyes on Brunson, by the way. Everybody.
And then Anunoby, this is a great look. With a minute 10 left in the game, no contest. Where's the Celtic defense? That's great execution on the offensive end of the floor by the New York Knicks. That is outstanding basketball.
A lot of times you're going to say, well, let somebody else beat us, right? That's what their defense was. They were all looking at Brunson, and Brunson with that pass around White. Terrific pass, great shot. Anunoby, now it's his turn. This is overtime. The Knicks make a 3 early, go up 103-100. This is now a chance to open up a nice lead in overtime with another 3. Anunoby in a post-up, and he finds the other member of Wingstop, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, and this is why the Knicks won the game. They ran better offense down the stretch in clutch time. They got better shots, and the Knicks have capable shooters. Everyone's focused on Jalen Brunson on this play. Everyone thinks he's going to get the shot and get the ball. Well, now Josh Hart has 12 on the clock, and he's like, we got to make something happen here. So good screen by Brunson, good pass. Freeze it there. Look. The defense comes all eyes, like you said, watching the ball. Now, Anunoby doesn't really want to take this shot over Jason Tatum. So look at Mikal Bridges here, runs to the corner, gives Anunoby an outlet, and does a good job of getting another wide open look. And Jaylen Brown, this is not good defense. You either got to make a decision to go double hard, to go for a double team here and try to get the steal, or stay home at a capable three-point shooter. Although he was 3 for 13 in this game, you cannot give him a wide open look. With this much time left in the game, in overtime, he got caught in no man's land. That's a catch and shoot, easy shot for Mikal Bridges. He nailed it. The Celtics are going to have to tighten up their defense big time down the stretch if they want to come back and win this series, because when the Knicks put the heat on the Celtics, the Celtics did not respond. And that's a great sign for the Knicks to be able to know that in crunch time they can get that good of quality shots.
And the fact that you shoot with confidence, as you mentioned, Bridges was 1 for 4 from 3 when he took that shot, but he shot it with confidence. And his stat line, while again the offense was not all there with just 8 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. You can get it done in other ways. Tom Thibodeau has talked about that many times. Bridges certainly did tonight, Bill.
Josh Hart did as well, Allen. Double-double for him, 14 points and 11 rebounds, 5 of his boards on the offensive end. We'll get Hart's post-game comments when we come back after this. Welcome back, everyone. Dramatic win for the Knicks in Game 1 in Boston as they beat the Celtics 108-105 in OT. Here's the rest of the series schedule. Wednesday, Game 2. Game 3, note the start time back here in New York at 3:30. Game 4 here in New York a week from tonight at 7:30. And we have pre- and post-game coverage during and before and after every game of the series. Josh Hart, double-double tonight for the Knicks in the win. Here's Josh, post-game.
I don't know what the stats are for him, but I mean, they got a bunch of guys that shoot, high 30s, 40s from 3. They want, they're good shooters, and some of them were good looks. So I think y'all saw it took us a little while to figure out how this series is going to be. We got beat with bats for 6 games, so we brought out bats here, and I was like, I don't know if we could have been as physical. So. It took us a little while to figure out how, the game was going to be called. But, that's a part of the playoffs, part of the game. You got to figure out by game, series by series. And like I said, it was a tough win, and happy we got it, but we got to move on.
Talk about overcoming missing 14 free throws, coming back double digits, the effort that it took.
Yeah, I couldn't make it a free throw. I think I was 3 for 6. I was terrible. But yeah, like I said, it was just toughness, just grittiness. We have a tremendous amount of confidence for everyone that wears a Knicks jersey, and everyone came in and contributed and helped in a positive way.
So what do you make of the way Mikal impacted the game, particularly late?
Yeah, that's who Mikal is. He's got a lot of criticism, and he never lets that affect him. And I don't know how many games, down the stretch that he's won for us just on the defensive side alone. The Brooklyn game, the block. The Chicago game, you got a block at the end. Big game this time. Couple, in the Detroit series. So he's been a huge part for this team. Sometimes those things get overlooked, and people just look at stats, and they lose sight of how valuable of a player that he is. And he went out there and shot wasn't falling, but he had a big 3 in overtime. I think it was overtime. Plays that go overlooked. He had a back tip. I think that I think Jalen ended up missing the 3. Broke jump shot, but just plays like that where his motor is always goes. He's a winning player. He makes winning plays, and he should be celebrated for that.
Worth pointing out here, and we were just talking about it as Josh Hart was talking. Mikal Bridges played over 51 minutes. Played the most minutes of anybody in the game tonight.
And made the biggest impact, made the last play, too. And it was an aggressive, physical
and that
play.
last play sends a message.
Yeah. No,
ripping the ball right out of Jaylen Brown's hands.
What'd you think of what Hart said there about, we got beaten with bats for one series in Detroit, came here, brought our bats with us, and realized that's not how this series is going to be.
I love what Monica said. I think Detroit got the Knicks ready to fight in this series. The physicality that they had to deal with. I don't think the Celtics, although they dealt with the physical team, Orlando Magic, they did not seem like they wanted to be really uncomfortable in this game. They wanted to just cruise. They wanted to shoot their threes. They had their 20-point lead. But the second things didn't go their way, I felt like the Celtics didn't show a lot of resolve. And I think part of the reason why the Knicks did not give up is because the Pistons really got them ready for going after the Celtics and being prepared for that moment in this series.
All right, guys, around the corner, we're going to hear from Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby. But up next, we got the post-game comments from Karl Anthony Towns coming up big down the stretch.
The Knicks post-game show is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
We have pre- and post-game coverage for every game of this series between the Knicks and the Celtics. Game 2 is a Wednesday night. We'll see for the pregame at 6:30. Karl Anthony Towns tonight missed a final 9:46 of the first half with foul trouble. Had a lot to do with the Knicks falling behind by 16 at the half. Cat, though, ended up with a double-double, and here he is after the game.
Again, keep putting ourselves in these type of games, but, I think we've done a great job of just fighting and giving ourselves a chance to win. And, just to put ourselves in a position where we could find a way to leave here tonight with a win is all it's about. So shout out to this team, the grittiness of this team, the resilience of this team to not, let go of the rope in the third quarter.
Does this build confidence now coming in here, getting game one?
I mean, of course, winning a game makes you feel good, but, just as quick as you win a game, you could lose the next one. And if anything, we've shown y'all that in the Pistons series. So we just got to, enjoy this one tonight. But tomorrow we got to get right back to business. This team is special, obviously defending champions, and they're going to come back hungrier and even execute at a higher level.
What do you guys want to do defensively when you went down 20? They got off 60 threes in this game. It looked like they forced them to settle for quite a few.
Just, I thought we did a good job of, like you said, we got some shots were lucky. They missed some threes. I think we all know they make, and we were able to convert those to points. So we did a good job of just getting some fast break points and getting some of the pace back in our offense.
And how did you handle the foul trouble you were in early into that second half?
Just a different physicality than the Detroit series. So we got to adjust. I got to adjust especially.
How much did the last series of grittiness help you out tonight with, the playoff intensity, the atmosphere? Yeah,
I mean, it's just, like I said, we keep finding ourselves, positioning ourselves in the game to be in these kind of games. So, it is what it is. But, we've done a great job all year in the last, series of just putting ourselves in a position to have a chance to win. And we did that tonight, and we just found a way. Shout out to our team.
How about your team defense tonight, especially in that fourth quarter?
I mean, in overtime, we did a great job of not only getting stops, but closing out the possession with a rebound and getting steals. And, of course, at the end, Mikal Bridges, does what he does best. And, after we play 50-plus minutes, he finds a way to have enough energy to kind of make that play. So this team, man, they showed up, and we all showed up when we really needed to, and that's kind of been our MO.
When you get a few stops, when you start to feel that toughness, that physicality take hold, does that build momentum for you on the defensive side? Do you start to feel it the way you would on the offensive side?
I think, sometimes, offense is just not clicking, and that's just how the game plays out sometimes. But we always control our effort on the defensive end, and I think for all of us, including myself, things may not have been going the best in the second half, but we did a great job of putting the effort in to give ourselves a chance to win by on the defensive end, finding ways to get stops, get the rebounds, apply the pressure needed to give ourselves a chance to win.
Cat with 14 and 13. Meantime, OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson each scored 29 for the Knicks. We will hear from Brunson and Anunoby after this. Welcome back, everyone. Next up, Game 2 Wednesday night. We'll see a pregame show at 6:30, hour-long postgame show after Game 2. OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson each with 29 tonight in the Knicks OT win. Let us hear from each now at the podium.
For both of you guys, obviously they were able to get out to a 20-point lead, but it feels like you guys were able to turn up the intensity and kind of show off that resiliency you guys have shown all year. What were kind of those conversations like as they were taking off and prepping for what you guys were able to do in the end?
We told each other just keep believing and just keep fighting, sticking together, and keep chipping away. It wasn't going to be a 20-point shot where you can just come back. We just had to keep chipping away possession by possession, and then just find a way to keep getting stops and making plays on offensive one as well.
Jalen, how about what OG did in the when you guys were down 20 and what he was able to do there to lift you guys back up?
Yeah, it definitely sparked us, and just the way he's been playing, not just in the postseason but all year. And I mean, I have the utmost confidence in him every time he steps on the floor, on both sides of the ball. So this is what we expect.
Jalen, there are 40 predicts from ESPN's experts. All of them say you're not winning tonight. Like after this game, you got any message for them?
No.
No.
Guess, for either of you guys, how important was Mikal, particularly down the stretch, both sides?
I mean, he got big stops. He made big-time shots, you know. He just stayed with it, kept playing hard, and you saw the results.
Jalen, when that shot doesn't go down at the end of regulation, you look like you were kind of incredulous. But how do you guys get in the huddle and for overtime kind of just regroup?
Yeah, I feel like we still had momentum at that point. Obviously, wasn't the result that we wanted. But, you know, we had another 5 minutes to go out there and compete. And we went out there as a team and did that. Just thankfully I had my teammates because, overtime I wasn't at my best, but my teammates had my back, and I'm very thankful for that.
OG, I got two for you real quick. Just number one, the season series, Tatum averaged over 30. Just what did you see tonight that allowed you to kind of have your impact on the defensive end?
Just force him into difficult shots. You know, he's a great player, and he's going to make some tough ones. Just try to make him as uncomfortable as possible, and see if he makes the shot. Just make it as difficult as possible.
And then on the offensive end, just at what point did you know that you had it going? Because it looked like every time that you got into attack mode, you made them pay.
I mean, I felt like I had it going early. You know, just trying to hunt for shots, get on transition, run, and just be aggressive and make the right play, whether it's passing it or shooting it.
OG, you have championship experience, a lot of playoff experience, but you had your playoff experience taken away from you by injury last year. How much did the championship experience and what happened last year really forge you into this sort of moment here against the defending NBA champion?
I mean, I think, I've played against great teams in the past, and I mean, we all have experience. You know, Jalen's been in the conference finals, Mikal and Cam been in the finals, Kat's been in the West Conference Finals, so I think collectively we're all an experienced group, and shows like in moments like this, like in tough games, you know, we're resilient.
Boston, 15 of 60 from beyond the arc. I guess what was working for you guys? Obviously, they missed some open looks, but I guess schematically, what was working for you guys to get out and challenge?
You want it?
I mean, they still got a lot of threes up, so it's on us to limit their attempts. But I think for the most part, we made them tough. They had a lot of easy looks that they were thankful that they missed, but we got to continue to make it tough, and you just don't know when they're going to be able to knock them down, because they also, I think, at the beginning of the year, almost had a record on us shooting 63s. So I mean, we got to be better at that aspect and not let them shoot as much, and not let them get open shots up.
You guys did a lot of switching tonight, and it felt like at the end it really wore on them. Everybody kind of defended one-on-one for both of you. How much of that game plan is coming in as a collaboration with Tibbs and like, let's try this, these are things that we think we can work on, or how much is it the coaching staff coming to you guys with this game plan and thinking just something different to try for this group?
I think it's a mix of both. You know, the coaches coming to us, and then the players also taking the challenge and wanting to guard, wanting to get stops, you know, just taking pride in playing defense. I think we all did it tonight, and we can get even better.
Appropriate here to be back from the corner of the three, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer, because, Alan, the three ball tonight was the key to the game.
It really is an incredible number if you think about it. Out of 97 shots that the Celtics took, 60 of them were from three. Like, that's an unbelievable
crazy
percentage. Now, again, they were the first team to win a championship shooting over
ridiculous.
50% of their shots were threes. That's what they do, and they will stick with it. They are arrogant with their threes. They are not changing their philosophy. This is who they're going to be in this series. Tom Thibodeau said the way you defend the three is prevent the three. They didn't prevent threes, but they were able to make them difficult. Yep. And they were able to survive them missing a lot.
Interested to see how the Knicks respond for Game 2. because this was a huge win.
Yep.
But you need to keep the pressure on the Celtics. You need to show the Celtics that you're going to be there in this game too, that you're not going away in this series, and that every game is going to be an absolute dogfight. You cannot let the Celtics get comfortable in any of these games. You have to constantly keep the pressure on them.
Free throws and rebounding in game 2.
Yep.
That's the key.
All right, so we will see you on Wednesday night prior to Game 2 with our pregame show at 6:30, then an hour-long postgame show after Game 2 on Wednesday night. So Knicks try to go up 2-0. You can watch our coverage here on MSG or stream on MSG Plus now on the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.